Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Metroid. This is a bonus part. I consider the main playthrough finished as of part 4. This extra video is more to share a few more anecdotes I didn't have time to bring up, as well as to show you, well, I mean, you're looking at it right now. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, we are playing as Samus, without her powered suit. When you finish the game and press start after the credits, the game starts over, letting you replay it again and again until you get tired of it. But if you get the good ending, where Samus removes her suit, pressing start allows you to play as her in that form. This is why I was so insistent on getting that ending in this Let's Play. This has no impact on the gameplay, she is just as strong, just as fast, she plays exactly the same. This is purely cosmetic. But man, does this look cool. In addition to that, you get to keep all of your upgrades from your previous playthrough, which is why I already have abilities like the bombs, the screw attack, or the Varia. Speaking of the Varia, you might be thinking, Samus looks a bit strange. Like why does she have green hair all of a sudden? Turns out she actually has brown hair, as seen during the ending, although it's a slightly different shade of brown. However, once you obtain the Varia, Samus's color palette changes, just like when she's wearing her suit, and in this case, this results in her leotard becoming magenta and her hair becoming green. While this quote-unquote New Game Plus allows you to keep all of your items, it does not include energy tanks and missile expansions, and of course you still have to beat the bosses again. So this playthrough is mostly just going to be me running around Zebes to collect just enough tanks to beat the game. I've done 100% twice in a row in this Let's Play already, so I can afford to skip a few things now. I'll also take a different route to beat the game faster in a single sitting. This isn't quite a speedrun. A real speedrunner would beat this game in like 10 minutes, but I'll still do my best to keep it as short as possible to the limit of my abilities as a casual player, of course. Also, as you probably guessed, I'm recording this commentary after the fact, and it's semi-scripted, which is why I'm playing, I was gonna say decently, but I'm almost dead. I'm not playing as badly as when I have to focus on playing and doing commentary. Anyways, this early part of the run focuses on getting the 2 energy tanks in Brinstar. I started with corridor number 3, which is where I'm at right now, which also allowed me to get this missile expansion earlier. And then I will get the E-tank in corridor number 4 as I loop back around to the yellow vertical room. After that, I'll be going to Norfab. While gameplay is happening, let me talk a bit more about this suitless Samus. The secret is actually exclusive to the NES version. In the original Japanese version for the Famicom, while the endings where Samus takes off her suit existed, starting a new game would always end up the same, with Samus wearing her powered suit. This sprite, this appearance for Samus, wasn't playable until the North American release. This difference is why I ended up playing the NES version instead of the original Famicom Disk System version. If it weren't for that, I think I would have played the Japanese version, honestly. There's so many ways in which the NES version is a downgrade compared to what Japan got. I've already talked about how poorly the game was ported to the NES. This version has a lot of lag, some enemy patterns aren't programmed correctly, it just doesn't run very well. There is, however, a big improvement that's a direct consequence of changing from a disk format to a cartridge, and that's loading times. As you've seen during this playthrough, there's not a single loading screen anywhere. You move from room to room seamlessly, and you can instantly go from one area to the next by taking an elevator. In the Japanese version, however, entering a new area would always require loading. Even just starting the game, you'd get a "please wait" screen that lasted like 20 seconds. Famicom discs also had 2 sides with different data written on each one, so the game would regularly ask you to swap the disc sides when changing areas or loading a cutscene, like the ending. This no longer exists when emulating the game, for example in the Nintendo Switch Online Famicom app, so there's less loading times, but yeah, there's still quite a bit of waiting when playing that version. So yeah, the NES version has no loading times, but at the cost of worse performance and technical compromises. One such compromise, and the biggest in my opinion, isn't how the game looks or feels, but how the game sounds. I don't know the exact technical details, so I might get some parts wrong, but the general idea is that the Famicom Disk System had one extra channel compared to the NES. This allowed games to have more elaborate sound effects and music. However, when the game was ported to the NES, they had to rework the soundtrack so that it would fit with what the hardware allowed. Metroid isn't the only game in this situation, there are other famous examples like The Legend of Zelda. Most of the background music is the same. Again, don't quote me on this because I'm not an expert, but I think it's because the extra channel was used for sound effects like jumping, shooting, etc., so the music ended up being played on the same amount of channels. However, songs that played outside of normal gameplay made full use of the hardware, and these songs ended up sounding very different. These are the title screen, the jingles when Samus appears or collects an item, and the ending credits. I'm not going to play all of them in their entirety, but here are a few clips so you can get an idea of how different they sound. These few differences alone make playing the Japanese version worth it, in my opinion. There's one last song that was changed in the NES version that I've mentioned in the previous part. It's the one that plays during the escape sequence. In the Japanese version, that song is shorter. However, in our version of the game, this bit was added right before the looping point. It's a small difference, but it gives the song a completely different feeling. I'm not sure which version I like the most, personally. Anyway, back to the gameplay. As you saw, I skipped most of Norfair. I just went to the upper part to collect the 5 missile expansions back to back. I didn't bother with the Ice Beam room, since I already have it. I still don't know what they were thinking with that second Ice Beam, since you need to already have the Ice Beam to get to that room. In the Game Boy Advance remake, they removed the Ice Beam in Brinstar, making this one in Norfair the one and only Ice Beam, and it's actually easy to get this time. Because of that, I always thought of it as the true intended location to get the Ice Beam in the NES version, while the Brinstar one was the secret second Ice Beam, even though it makes no sense level design-wise. Even official guides tell you to get the Ice Beam in Brinstar and not bother with the one in Norfair. Although I'm not sure what that's worth, since these guides usually also tell you to fight Ridley first, even though he's clearly mini-boss number 2. Speaking of which, as you can probably tell, we're fighting Ridley first. Like I said for this playthrough, I tried to do things as fast and efficiently as I could, and well, there was no point backtracking to Brinstar just to fight Kraid, since I was in Norfair. I might as well stay and defeat Ridley, so I don't have to come back later. Back to the audio differences real quick. It wasn't just the music that sounded different on the Famicom. The sound effects are out of this world. This is the part that really surprised me when I first played the Japanese version. Like you hear the title screen music and you go, oh yeah, I guess it does sound a bit better. But the sound effects are completely different. Whether it's the shooting sound effects, the doors opening and closing, even some enemies sound different and have actual cries. Bosses like Ridley sound like actual kaiju monsters. And the Metroids have this weird alien sound to them. I think that's what best describes the sound design of Famicom Metroid. While NES Metroid sounds very electronic, video gamey, Famicom Metroid has such a unique sci-fi alien feel to it. It really greatly contributes to the atmosphere. Oh wow, I forgot I did that jump. I promise you, it's really hard. It doesn't look that way, but the timing is really hard to get. If you don't jump at the very last second, you fall. And if you press the jump button like 1 frame too late, Samus does not jump, and you also fall. It's way harder than it looks. Anyways, I don't know why I came here. Like, I really don't need the extra missiles here. In fact, I didn't need any missiles besides like 5 to open the red door earlier. After that, the bosses are going to give me 150. I really didn't need to go out of my way to collect so many in retrospect. But yeah, Ridley is up next. As I was recording this part, I accidentally found out that, well, not really found out. It's more like I'm pretty sure I must have known this at one point, and then I just forgot it. But Ridley is vulnerable to the screw attack. So you're going to see me first do a mix of shooting missiles and screw attacking, and once I'm out of missiles, basically just keep jumping against him. Okay, let's watch this. Oh, okay. Of course I fall into the lava. Of course. Good job, Alex. Masterful platforming right there. So yeah, first missiles, and yeah, I think it was that point just now where I realized that the screw attack worked on Ridley. So after that, I'm just alternating between the two attack methods. A bit of missiles, a bit of screw attack. I don't know how much damage the screw attack deals to Ridley. I don't even know if it's really that efficient compared to just spamming missiles, or the wave beam even, but I don't know, it worked out for me, and it was fun to try out. Okay, should be close now, I think. I'm out of missiles, so it should be close. No, not yet. Maybe this one? Still not, man. This took longer than I thought. Okay, this one. There you go! Okay, and with that, Ridley is down, and I can go get the last energy tank in this area. After that, I'm going to cheat a little. As you know, when you die and hit continue, the game starts you back at the area's entrance. It's something I've made use of in my playthrough to save some time, because sometimes it's just faster to die and respawn than to backtrack all the way to the entrance. I was really close to dying just there, oh my god. But yeah, now that I have so much energy, it'll take a while to die on purpose. So instead, I'm using a secret code. I think I mentioned it in an earlier part. It's a code that can trigger an instant death, or rather, it just triggers an instant game over screen. To do that, you pause the game, and then you press up and A on a second controller. This immediately brings up the game over password screen and allows you to continue as if you just died. So I made use of that to return to the area's entrance, then I took the elevator back to Norfair, and then I paused the game and did the code again to return to Norfair's entrance. So now I'm going to take the elevator back to Brinstar. And I'm going to pause the game again and do the code again to return to the start of the level. This actually puts me closer to the elevator to Kraid's hideout, and it saves a ton of time. Can you imagine if I had done all of this by walking? Can you imagine how much time it would have taken? This might seem counterintuitive because I'm back at 30 energy, but thankfully there's another E-tank right near the entrance of Kraid's hideout, so I'll be back to full health in no time. This game over screen trick is actually a legitimate trick that's used in speedrunning, although there are some categories that are called deathless that require you to backtrack without using the continue feature. I called it a secret code, but I think it's more a deliberate design decision to allow players to save the game whenever they need it. The Legend of Zelda works similarly in that it only lets you save the game when you die. As in, alright, game over, do you want to keep going or did you have enough for today? Zelda also has that second controller input to instantly end your game and open the save menu, but in the NES version of Metroid, it takes the form of displaying password. Which finally leads me to talk about the final main difference between the Famicom disk system and the NES versions of Metroid, the save and password system. In the Japanese version, Metroid had a proper save file system, made possible thanks to the Famicom disk system's rewritable disks. If you've ever played The Legend of Zelda, this screen will look familiar to you. Also, when you finish the game, Samus will have bags of money next to her sprite. I assume it's meant to be the bounty she collected after completing her mission? I don't know. And yeah, the faster you beat the game, the more money you get. The game keeps track of how much time you've been playing, showing the number of hours, but it calls them days for some reason. When the game was ported to the NES, they could have put it on cartridges that allowed for saving, like they did for Zelda, but I'm guessing they probably wanted to save on production costs and they went for a password system instead. As you've seen, there are not really passwords in the traditional sense, like enter ABC123 to access level 2 or something, but they're more passcodes, as in the game reads the code and translates it into a game state. Every character providing information on some variable in the gameplay, like the amount of missiles you have, if certain items have been collected or not, which boss has been defeated, which doors have been unlocked, and also Samus' sprite. For example, if you were to enter, I'll just put it on screen, it's like all zeros except for 2 characters that are equal to 2. This will be exactly equivalent to a new game, but with suitless Samus. As you can imagine, there are multiple passwords that can result in Samus having the sprite, but the most well-known is Justin Bailey, followed by a bunch of hyphens. There have been many theories about this password, like that it could have been the name of one of the developers, or that a Bailey was an old term for a swimming suit in the UK or Australia, and that Samus were therefore just in a Bailey. But nowadays it's more commonly accepted that it was just a coincidence. Justin Bailey is not the code to play as suitless Samus, it just happens to be one of the codes that has that sprite enabled, and specifically the one that starts you in Norfair with 5 E-tanks, 255 missiles, the wave beam, and so on. But because it's such a memorable password, it's the one that stuck. And considering it's way easier to input that easy to remember password than playing through the entire game and finishing it in under 3 hours, many people actually believe that suitless Samus is unlocked with that password, and therefore that the password was made specifically for suitless Samus. This results in a lot of fans calling this specific sprite of Samus Justin Bailey, or associating Samus with that green hair, magenta leotard appearance, rather than her actual canonical brown hair and pink leotard. Not that it's a problem in itself, green-haired women are awesome, I love them, but I find it interesting how these small misconceptions have led to what is ultimately just an optional palette swap to become such an iconic part of gaming history. Now, for an actual password that is not a coincidence and was deliberately put there by the developers, the NAR password, or I guess Narpass sword if you take the space into account. It kind of sounds like the name of a mystical sword in some fantasy story. It's generally believed that the NAR in NAR password stands for North American Release, or that it's short for Narihiro, after Toru Narihiro, the programmer who was in charge of the NES conversion. This password is essentially God mode. It gives you all the upgrades, as well as infinite energy and missiles. Also, Samus has the Ice Beam equipped, but uses the Wave Beam's graphics, which is kind of weird. So yeah, I guess if you're having too much trouble with the difficulty and you just want to have a casual stroll through Zebes, you can use that. Anyway, as I was talking, Kraid is dead, so I did the second controller trick again to quickly return to Brinstar. You might notice that I only have 5 energy tanks. That's because I skipped exploring the entire lower part of Nolfair. I'm also back to 30 energy for using the password menu, but that's fine because there's a secret E-tank just a couple of rooms away in Brinstar. This will allow me to refill my health and also reach the maximum amount so I'm ready for Torian. I'm also running out of anecdotes, but I have one last password to share with you. One that is so iconic and so hilarious that I just cannot not mention it. Cover your ears, children. The password is Engage Ridley, motherfucker. The reason it's so infamous, besides the password itself, really, the reason it's so infamous is that it corresponds to a game state where the player has an invalid starting position and a playtime that is absurdly high, like several hundreds of years. As a result, the game cannot compute this, and it crashes. In some cases, depending on the platform you're playing on, it can even freeze your console and force you to do a hard reset. It's pretty bad. Alright, we're at the secret E-tank. You have to freeze this little scree here, but unfortunately, yeah, I fucked up the timing. It's alright, I just leave and wait for it to respawn. Okay. Do I get it on my second try? I think I do. Yeah, definitely gonna get it now. There you go. With that, I have 6 E-tanks and I'm back at full health. So I'm officially done exploring, and the rest of this run is just going to be traversing Torian and finishing the game. I've also run out of anecdotes, so I don't know what to say for the rest of this video. My script ends here. I'm like, improvise the rest. Okay, thank you, past me. I guess I'll try to provide some actual gameplay commentary and try to make it interesting, kinda. We'll see. I mean, this specific room, like, you've seen it countless times by now. There's nothing special about it. It's just climbing the same copy-pasted platforms. Gonna go all the way to the top to get to the corridor leading to the bridge to Torian. So yeah, it's just gonna be jumping. And no, not there. That's the wrong room. Alex, where are you going? You already have the long beam. You already have everything. Why would you go there? Oh my god. So angry at my past self for wasting time. Okay, now I'm on track. I'm on track now. Oh, actually I have another anecdote. Okay, so there's actually a trick to skip the bridge. Like, normally you have to beat the 2 bosses for the bridge to activate, but there's actually a way you can jump across the lava pool in the room that we're about to get to. It's super tricky though. Basically, you have to, I think it's this enemy that I just killed mercilessly, the Rio that was coming from the ceiling. You have to like bait it so that it follows you through the door. And then once you're in that room, you have to bait it so that it will go like above the lava pool. So then you can freeze it with the ice beam and use it as a platform to reach the other side without activating the bridge. It's super tricky. I've never done it myself, but I've seen some speedrunners do it, and it's super impressive when they pull it off. Clearly, I have a ways to go before I know how to play the game this way. Anyways, as you're going to see, I'm going to skip all the Metroids in this area. I think at the end I'm still going to try and kill a few to get a few more extra missiles because I don't have that many. But yeah, for the most part I'm just going to freeze them and run past them. You don't have to kill them. Future games will actually require you to kill Metroids to progress, but in this one they're entirely optional. They're just there to scare you. So yeah, that's why you're seeing me freezing them. It saves a lot of time. Oh, this one was close. This one was a bit too close. Okay. Oh man, those Rinkas. I hate the Rinkas so much. They deal so much damage. I never realized until when I was editing the previous parts. Because like when you're playing, you don't really pay attention to the numbers. You just, okay, I get hit. You don't really pay attention. And then like 30 seconds later, you start hearing the beeping noise. You're like, oh shit, I'm already down to 20 HP. But like when I was editing, I could actually see my health go down. And the Rinka deal 15 damage for each hit. That's a lot. Like after basically 7 hits, you lose an entire energy tank. And that can go very fast in Mother Brain's room. That's why it's so hard. Anyways, this poor little Metroid who's stuck under the platform. Poor little guy. Metroids are really cute. They're like cute in an ugly kind of way. I don't know, I like Metroids a lot. So yeah, at this point, I think this is when I realized, oh, I have less than 100 missiles. I should probably try to farm it a little bit. Unfortunately, I get a lot of energy. Like, I was at 98. I didn't need a pickup just to get 1 extra point. It's so frustrating that this game doesn't give you what you need. It's just random. Okay, I have... Oh, that was terrible. I froze them in the worst possible spot. But yeah, like I have 131 missiles. That's more than enough. So I think I stop here. Yeah, I'm going to stop farming at this point and just start fighting the Mother Brain. So how did it go? Okay, the first Zibitite went pretty well. Oh my god, that was perfect. I'm doing surprisingly well. I didn't remember I was doing this well. I mean, look at this. I've never had it this easy before. They weren't targeting me at all. Why did I get this all the time? Why didn't I get this in my first playthrough? Oh wow. I'm already at the final phase with 5 full E-tanks. Sorry, it probably sounds silly that I'm being amazed at myself like that, but I'm recording this several days later, so I genuinely forgot the fight went this well. Oh my god. I hate falling in the lava there. It's so hard to get out. Oh, that was a nice sequence there. Sorry, I'm out of things to say, so I'm just so focused on the fight. This is so intense. I don't even know what to say. I tried counting the shots. I think I'm getting close to 30 right now, so we're probably very close to the end. I think it was 30, but let's see. It should be only 2 more. I think it's 32 missiles to kill it. Yes! Oh my god. This went so well. I wish it went so well for me all the time. I mean, compared to a pro player, like, losing 400 HP in this fight is probably ridiculous, but clearly I think this is the best Mother Brain fight I've ever had in my life. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for this run. It took, what, roughly half an hour? Could have been faster still, but like, I'm not gonna complain. 30 minutes to beat Metroid is so much shorter than I could have ever hoped for as a kid. Of course, having all the items right at the start makes it super easy. If I actually had to collect all these power-ups, it would have taken me much longer, obviously. I mean, you've seen this playthrough. Anyways, here's the ending. Since we're playing as suitless Samus, she's already without her suit on the ending screen, but she has weird colors. Blonde hair, green leotard, and really like orange skin. I guess it's supposed to be the same color palette as the powered suit, which normally appears there, so that's probably why she looks like this. But guess what? She can undress even more. Look at this! Since we beat the game in under 1 hour, we get the quote-unquote best ending, where she's in a bikini. Yay! I am not a fan of that sprite. I feel it was a bit too fan-servicey and unnecessary, especially nowadays in retrospect, you know, where Samus's character is a lot more fleshed out, isn't just a bikini babe to reward the player. So seeing her like this is a bit like, yeah, sure, whatever. But anyways, I'm still really glad that I was able to get this ending and show it in this Let's Play. That way, I can consider this mini-series complete. I might not go as far for every single game, but I figured that given how short the original Metroid is, it wouldn't be that much effort to do all of that. So yeah. Oh, there he is! Look, look! Converted by T Narihiro. So supposedly the Nar password is named after him. So yeah, I'm out of things to say, sorry. That's it for my third playthrough of Metroid. I didn't think I would be doing 3 in a row for this channel. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this anecdote-filled extra part taught you some interesting stuff. And I'll see you soon for some more Metroid and other things as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day and see you next time. Bye-bye.